topic is comics and controversy. Yeah. Yeah, guys.
Double C's.
Double C's, 2 C's. So, what happened over the last 2 weeks is, Marvel came under some heat, like, artist Joe Bennett of the Incredible Hulk on issue 43 has caught a lot of flack for some anti-Semitic imagery, and it's pretty spot on. If you guys haven't seen the pages, or the exact page that it features the Star of David, the original print features the Star of David on a wall.
And where?
In a jewelry shop,
What was the name of the jewelry shop? Goldberg's or some shit like that.
Yeah, Cronenberg's.
Yeah,
Cronenberg's jewelry shop. Like, the L is removed. Now, Joe says that, before his online apology statement, he makes it like, oh, obviously it was just a mindless, haphazard, I misspelled the word, I had to shorten it because somebody's head is in the way, woo, I had to shorten the words. Either way, a lot of people have been calling it to attention before they had to issue reprints physically and digitally, that it was just an honest mistake, but then he put out a statement after catching the flack that, I'm using a harmful stereotype, there's no excuse for me to do so-and-so, which kind of makes me wonder, nobody caught it, nobody caught it on the way coming out.
During the sketching process, during the coloring process, during the writing process.
Are the editors?
Not taking any heat.
Honestly, in the past, not even just with comics, editors, no one seems to be watching or looking at anything nowadays.
Until it's...
So much shit has been just, pushed up. You really didn't look this over before you saw a Starbucks cup on Game of Thrones. It's literally just right there in your face. Remember that? And they had to literally take it out from the rest of the viewings.
I'm still tripping on the guy that was in the corner of the Mandalorian. But anyway, T-shirt guy.
Now I understand that there's a lot and mistakes happen and stuff goes wrong, but if I'm correct, this isn't the first time he's done something questionable.
No. This artist in particular shared some pretty troubling, concerning views online when someone was attacked by a Jair Bolsonaro supporter. He got punched in the face, and he said, "Oh, that was my." No, he got slapped in the face. He said, "Oh, that was my slap too," or he should have thrown a punch. Like, the guy's got some. He's been in hot water before.
Some fringe views, and I know there's been at least another thing that he has done in works that was a little questionable.
There was another instance that I don't have on me right now, but he has flirted the line before. This was probably one of the more egregious ones because come on, the Star of David jewelry, it was pretty on the nose,
like a brand of comedy that's out of the 1950s.
Now, mind you, it could have been a mistake. It could have been an oversight that he did.
They match up.
The track record isn't showing too much good.
Exactly. I think he did it out of. I think, in my opinion, he did it without thinking. But in reality, what was shown was his actual thinking.
Yeah,
I think the background. I think it's a little bit of that.
Yeah, he didn't cloak it so well. Muscle memory. He's just like, I'll be racist on the face.
That's what I'm going.
Yeah, when you're going through your teenage years and you throw a little jab at your parents to try and test them to see exactly what you can get away with.
I've never called my mom a...
Chill out.
I slipped up and called my mom by her real name
I
once.
thought you were
and I, in true anime fashion, I saw her hand go up, but I didn't see where it went. All I remember is there was pain. I was like, "Ooh, why does it hurt?" And her finger was just like this, looking at me. I was like...
So, speaking of pain and repercussions, obviously Marvel has come out with their statements and woo. They issued the reprint. So making the original print that's everyone out there who's bought it kind of like a collector's item.
Did you get it?
Fuck no, I didn't buy it. I thought about it though. I'm not gonna lie, I picked it up one week. I was like,
you should have got. See, but just to have it, just because it's like having the Dick issue of Batman, Dark.
Oh yeah.
Dark Knight Slong.
Yeah, that is a collector. That's fucking worth something. Right?
It holds weight.
Yeah.
It really does.
You want to see? You guys look at the issue where Batman showed his dick.
It's not as big as I hoped.
That's urban legend. That's urban legend shit.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wish I got that issue, but yeah, Marvel said that along with this statement, they're like, okay, we're not requiring that you guys can, we don't have to return the issue, but if you wanted to, we'll take that and we'll give you the new edited version, per company take and whatever, the stuff they have to do. The artist rolled out his apology. It's really weird that the artist is actually taking flack, also, but not the writer, who, he writes the script. And like you were talking about earlier, this thing passes through a lot of hands, before the final product goes out. So it's something that could have been easily caught.
Well, here's a question: was that in the script to put that, or was that an artist's choice? And that's where it becomes, I guess, hazy, because it's not a one person running the whole thing. Right. Artists take liberties depending on what the script calls for. So. Nobody, I don't know. Was it in the panel? Was it in the idea?
Depending on their relationship, they do work. The writer and the artist kind of work in tandem, like they bounce off each other with the ideas. So it's like it could have been both, but for whatever reason, he's taking the heat for it.
Like it's funny.
Just him.
Well, just simply because he's got a track record. Going back to the Gina Carano thing, he already had a questionable Fallout once. Yeah. Automatically assume that he's gonna have another one.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be that.
But he didn't get fired from his job yet, so I guess cancel culture didn't work right.
It's just a coloring book. Who cares if they put it in?
I don't read comics. Tell me when it's a movie.
Guys, speaking of comics, all right. I don't know if you guys remember the essential event for every comic book fan that came out in 2020, the DC fandom event. That was virtual, where Jim Lee had to draw a set, and then they spoke from it and talked about all these movies, instead of comic books.
And then, comics were shelved into like a 5-minute.
It's shelved. And in that 5-minute clip, the 2.2 seconds that they spent talking about the Milestone return, we have gotten some updates on that. Milestone is officially moving forward with their launch starting this February, later this month on the 26th, I believe. That Milestone.
We getting static?
Yes, we are getting static. Yay. The only limited available Infinite Edition that was only available during the fandom event for the people who were there is now going to be re-released as part of an extended cut later this month on the 26th, so it kind of does a retelling of their story, introducing Earth M, Milestone, and then we move on into April where we get Static, we get Hardware in August, we get Rocket and Icon also in August. With all these launches, in the wing, the one problem is that they're all digital releases. None of these are physical.
Oh, man.
So, in my view, I'm glad that the books are coming out. We've been talking about the Milestone thing for a while now. People have been hyping it up, and of the little comic book shit they did talk about during that fandom, that's one of the ones I was excited for. So now we're getting basically a rehash of what was only given to fans there, with a little extra stuff in it. And we're getting these releases through April and August, but online.
I hope that changes.
Me too, because, you're going to do a Milestone release, kicking it off in Black History Month, and I can only purchase it digitally.
That's pretty
for a Milestone release, every single one, which, by the way, if you didn't know already, all these are mini-series, 6 issues long.
I hope they finish. I hope it's not like the last time when 52s dropped and they started with some of these characters again and they just were left on the side of the road.
New 52, at least they, bothered to give some of them, some of them were meant to get 12 issues. But this Milestone is a special case.
It could be to garner interest and release bigger issues down the road.
Mm-hmm. But they, that's my first thought, and yes, there's a reality where that works out too. But the criticism that I continue to have for DC, it's like you gotta learn. People are thirsty for more content other than the heroes that they keep hearing about, which is Batman and everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all know where Future State's going. We're reading it. Anybody who's paying attention to this stuff, like you kind of get the vibe from that. We need fresh blood in miniseries. In my mind, especially online only, like digitals only. That doesn't cut. Not for Milestone. Like that doesn't. I'm sorry. That doesn't cut it for me. But I'm gonna try and be as I'm gonna go into this with open arms and hope that we do get hit after hit after hit because I'm still excited for it. Fans are starved for it, and we're gonna get Milestone back, obviously. But to only do digitals like
It
kind
makes
of
more
feels
problems.
it kind of feels disrespectful. Like I don't know. Like you know what I mean? Like some people are getting shoved. Some people are getting shoved in the back of books right now, but they're getting on to print.
Yeah.
This is fucking Milestone. What's going on?
I think it puts more of a barrier up, even with getting these. So you may let's in a cool world in an ideal area, you see an advertisement for this even happening. How? Who the fuck knows? Because the way things are curated for your searches and your in media, it's hard to get that stuff out there. So let's say by some grace of God you see an advertisement for this. So how do you have to get it? You have to go online, download a certain app, and then download the comic book. You have to go
Well,
through.
you have to also buy it.
Yeah, so you have to go through Comixology or DC's app.
If you go through Comixology or DC's app, you have to buy it. Now, there is a plus side to this. And something that we don't often think about because some of us, we're not broke boys. We have the money. We can go buy comics whenever we want to. All right? But that's not always the case given on the area. And some people don't have comic book shops. And this might make it easier for them to, access the comic. And I'm not saying that there's not a scenario where this could turn out to be the thing that they need, But at the same time, I like physical copies.
Make it limited run. Limited.
Exactly. So, we'll just see what happens.
I don't
Either
understand
way, yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, just to interject. I don't understand why they, maybe it's money, but then again, they're putting out all these other comics as well. Why can't they do both? They could just do a simultaneous, a same time release of the digital copy and the physical copy. Then everyone can get what they want. Like people who have more access to computers can get the digital copy, and people who literally go to the comic book store can just get it. And I can't really say, well, what about printing and stuff? Like they're printing shit all the time. They haven't stopped.
Right.
They haven't stopped at all. So why can't they make room for this Milestone event?
Now, there could be another thing, an element to this, to where it's like, I don't know if Milestone is technically part of the deal that DC made with Penguin Press to print
To
their
keep these
books.
characters.
Like I said, there's a lot of parts to this where it's like, I'm not entirely sure about, but like, for the relaunch of Milestone, I felt like there's a degree of respect that isn't in the room. And unfortunately, it's the one with the black people in it. And that kind of makes me a little upset. But again, I'm going to go into this with open arms, and if the releases are good, and because God knows they could go for it, like the stakes are wide open right now.
Yeah. One last thought before we wrap this up. Like you said, I think that is the natural instinct to immediately think like, we're shoving black people. But again, we don't know what's behind dealings. We don't know what the actual contracts say. We don't know what all that. But I would hope that if the rollout was there, the possibility was there, I don't see why a physical rollout, even if it's a limited amount, even if it's a trial run, you're seeing what sticks and what doesn't, I don't see why printing a few of them wouldn't be possible. But who knows?
Here's an idea. What if when they do digital only prints, why not up the production value for the comic and add effects while you're reading it if it's digital only? Add effects.
Music. Something.
Again,
music, graphical effects. Like say something uses lightning power. Give me the stock lightning sound and show it moving around the page.
There is a long. All I will say on that is that there is a long forgotten history of Marvel and DC trying effects on the comic book page. It was not pretty.
Yeah.
And
Digitally?
now who knows?
Yeah.
Yes, but now who knows? The future could change a lot of things for people. There's new technologies out there, but I think fans don't. We don't need a whole bunch of bells and whistles. Just good, solid releases. I'm not closed off to the idea. Music tracks work for stuff.
Yeah,
but
show me those.
yeah.
I want to see them.
I'll
Yeah,
show
I
you.
remember seeing a
It's
couple of them.
like something that they've been doing with We Live.
Yes,
having
like
those tracks,
tiny
per,
tracks.
for issue and everything. It was great.
yeah, I'm with it. I mean,
Yeah.
but like again, like that's a very experimental medium, and like
And if this is a situation to where they're trying to concise it and make it as lean monetarily wise as possible, I don't see how that would help.
not for Milestone. I mean,
Yeah, I don't see how that would be a thing.
Dark skin.
Hey,
It's Black History Month.
show some respect.
Damn.
All right, guys. I picked up some books, and I want to share them with you.
Well, that's
All
a
right.
nice transition. I like that.
Hey, I'm gonna start doing it now.
Hey,
It's not like,
he's learning.
you know. Hey,
Oh.
so another from the realm of Future State, Teen Titans. I will just go on to say, one of my many quips. It is beautiful, beautifully drawn. I like all the cool concepts. Rafa Sandoval is on pencils, yet Tim Sheridan on the script. It's a cool, neat story of continuing this Future State stuff with Teen Titans. However, I will just say once we're in Future State, I don't know why they're calling themselves teens. They're all fully grown adults. But they're still doing that.
They did address that. Like they talk about people's standings and who the teens are. They address that.
I don't understand why they just can't be Titans.
I don't know, but
That encompasses everything.
I don't know. But either way, the story, I had to read it twice. It's a little bit, out there for me. But on my second reading, I did get the story a little bit better. I'm intrigued with the mystery of who is the return. If you guys have seen anything about this release, you know that Red X has returned to beat that ass. And I'm kind of excited at least to see a second issue where they go with that character. What about you guys?
That issue 1.
Yes, sir.
Issue 2's out.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read that?
No, only issue 1's been out so far.
Issue 2 is out.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I guess I'll move on then. All right.
It's a good read, and I like how it made because I read Future State Flash, and this kind of makes me want to go back and read Future State Flash and see where that goes.
That Future State Flash art is just it's too much for me.
Too
It hurts-
flashy?
It hurts my eyes. I'll just say
It's
that.
flashy. Say it.
Firepower number 8. I know I'm the only one here. All right, but Robert Kirkman, Chris Samney, they continue. You done?
He's asleep. You put him to sleep.
Are you done?
It's just
All right.
like,
So, Robert Kirkman, Chris Samney, continuing their story of Owen and his family on the run. I don't have much else to say about Firepower other than I'm still following it. I like the story. I like where they're going. It's a bit of a slow burn for some people.
get it, slow burn.
Get it? Slow burn because.
But you couldn't take my flashy.
Let it go. All right.
Firepower go.
All right.
I really think Firepower suffers from releasing such small issues in such a long amount of time.
Well, they tried releasing 150 pages. Look what that happened.
It was the only good book.
It was. In fact, it was
the only good
book.
one.
I respect your opinions, even though I disagree.
I think they suffer from doing too much exposition.
Yes, I won't lie. There is a little bit of an exposition here. There's a little too much.
There's like nuggets in every issue that, if put together, maybe they're trying to milk it. Maybe this should have been a 6-issue. What are they up to? 8?
Yeah, they're bad.
So it's probably like a 12.
Yes, sir.
This could have worked from being a 6 to 8 issue series, which is take all the fucking butter off and just give me the meat.
Butter.
I won't disagree with that. Taskmaster number 3. McKay, Vitti, still on fire with this series. I really like this issue. It was very
It's
smooth.
so much fun.
Very fun. The art is great. We get to see some of the Korean superhero talent, which I did not even know about.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of into it.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm reading a show.
Yeah.
Like it's really well done. If you're not reading Taskmaster, I would highly recommend it. It's one of those real like kind of humanizing stories in a funny way about the bad guy and kind of turning it upside down. It's kind of like Hawkeye and what they're doing with Grifter. Stories like that are really like, hitting me really well, and I think that there's room for it, and they're doing really good.
I never thought I would actually care about a Taskmaster arc
Me either.
at all. To me, he was always just like a background character that I was like, oh, you can mimic people, you can do whatever the fuck, blah, blah, blah. This books have changed my perception of what you can do with just sideline characters.
I know, right? It's like they're still trivial, but you can tell why they're still around. Like it's I don't know. It's hitting the right. It's hitting the right.
No, it's
really good.
I love the relationship he has with Fury and how they're just kind of doing these back and forth jabs at everybody. Oh, this is a real joy to read.
Absolutely great. That little page where he's like climbing into the in the background. He's climbing
into the vent.
I like how he just eyeball people. You're not human. I like you just eyeball that. I love it.
Yeah, like all these little great in-depth takes. We get to learn more about the character that we may not have known, and there's a lot of room to make stuff up and like grow the character, and that's what they've been doing. They haven't missed a beat as far as I'm concerned.
And I really like how they're implementing all that. How they're just kind of showing his abilities without putting it in your face. It was just like it's just really subtle, really in the background. I think it's really well done.
Really excited to see more.
Really well done. Another book that I was compelled to pick up by Kaboom Studios and written and drawn by Christine Larson is Orcs. It's a light. It's exactly what it looks like. It's a very light, very fun, and I'm in love with the art.
It's fluffy.
It's a fun book.
It's fluffy.
I like how.
Yes, I will start doing.
We should probably.
I mean, I can. Oh yeah. I like how it kind of baits and switch you, because it goes from like, oh, this story that they're talking about and everything, but that's not actually what the story's about. I guess like we may go back to that story eventually, but yeah, it's fun. I love the dialogue. The names get kind of
the names are
different. I kind of hurt my throat sometimes saying them.
like could just stick with Blorg and Korg and Florg and.
I love this world.
Name someone Tooth.
Yeah, Tooth. Something like that.
This issue is fun. I just think it's convoluted for a first issue. I think this would have profited from being a short, kind of like short stories.
Gotcha.
Because that's what it felt like it was written like, and then they had these 3 different stories that they wanted to tell just really quickly. And then they try to interweave them together, and kind of at some point it just felt like it was a little too clumsy, or it was a little rushed. Still had fun. I think it's still a great book just to kind of just lay back and read something. It was a quick burn.
Yeah,
Art was great.
I felt like it was very like I liked it, but the ending felt really like, oh, we're ending like
it's like we need to tell another story.
They feel like there's more, but not in like the way like, oh, I can't wait for the next issue. It was like, oh, we're ending right here.
Yeah,
okay,
it just felt convoluted. It felt just a little too over the place, but it was super fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that were super fun, another feature state title that came out, Justice League number 2. It carries on with the same heat from the first issue, but I won't lie. Stuff moves a little bit better in this issue to me. Sometimes a little too fast.
Too fast.
Like I kind of thought
we went through 8 issues.
It's something that would have taken. But maybe that's why they're the superior Justice League, because
they get things done fast.
They get things done real fast, and at the end of the day, it's kind of sweet. They get to be, some stuff happens. The characters get to know each other a little better. We get to see the team synergy in action. And I did enjoy the issue. Of course, always the art's pretty cool, and I do like the story. Although at the rate at which things are taking place, I'm starting to wonder: are all their stories going to take place like this? Like
all at the same time?
I mean, it's constantly stated that Justice League saves the world a million times.
Billion times.
So is that kind of just steamrolling arcs?
Isn't that how regular Justice League books are?
No, they usually take like arcs, like books 1, 2, 3, 4 to get a story done.
It is. I like it faster.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. For a Justice League at this point, yeah. I mean, I'm with that. Faster's cool too.
I believe this approach for this comic because I liked it. Like, granted, it was really quick, but you can tell while reading it that the problem that's going on does not matter. It does not matter. It's not about the white Martians or whatever what they're cooking up because they literally do their plan that it fails on him like in the 10 pages. What it's really about is the characters and their struggle to figure out if they're gonna whether to be closer to one another or not. But they finally realize that they already are close. They already know shit about each other because they honestly been sneaking around, hanging out with each other all this time and stuff, getting to know one another. So they're just trying to be secret about it.
Not bad, man.
Yeah,
not bad, man.
Yeah, true.
Batman
Okay.
got a Batman.
Batman, but yeah, he thinks he's Batman.
And actually, not Green Lantern. Green Lantern and Batman are the only people who weren't hanging out on the sidelines with anybody else.
Green Lantern was
They
I
were
thought was hanging out
following
with
the
the
rules.
Flash.
No,
No.
it was Flash and Aquawoman, and Superman and Wonder Woman.
You're right. The only black people. won't
Yeah,
break
they
the
were
rules.
the only ones following
Yeah,
the rules.
only one following the rules.
So, you know.
Ugh.
All right.
But yeah, I think this is just more of a build up to get to know the characters a little bit more, have them come together, show that they're not really.
Oh, why'd you say that?
Oh no!
Because I know we had the most to say.
But either way, good issue. I just need to figure out what's going on. Like, what's the next? Is there gonna be another arc? What's going on?
Like, 'cause at this
I
rate,
want more.
Yeah, same. Like
I'll give it another look. I know we don't all share the same opinion on that. So before I move on, someone had a dissenting opinion about future state titles.
Oh, yeah. So I'm pretty much I'm done with anything that isn't Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is probably the best written, the best drawn.
It's over.
They gave us 2 issues and
Two issues.
Yeah, 2 issues.
Even though
That's
you
it.
read them.
it wasn't on the list.
2 issues. That's it. Here's my problem with DC and why I'm done with Future State. It feels like they're running back to this place of like, look, we don't want to do multiverse stories, so we're gonna do future stories that may or may not happen, and it's not multiverse because we're not calling it multiverse, but it's fucking literally multiverse. And the main problem that I have is you give me 3 Batmans running in continuation right now. All 3 of them are no longer rich. One of them is black, one of them is old, one of them has just decided that he wants to move into the city. And I'm talking about the 2 future states and the one that's in continuation now. You're giving me 3 stories of the same story being told 3 different ways, but in the end being the same story.
And with the same villain.
I'm done.
I mean, it's Batman because, I mean, obviously you're going to sneak in at least 3 issues of
Like-
the same thing.
So the Fox Batman doesn't have money because he doesn't have the Wayne. Future State Batman or Dark Detective doesn't have the money because Bruce Wayne is dead. Other Batman lost his money through the Joker War. So you're telling me that this is where you're gonna take Batman, but you're giving me 3 directions of it? No. I'm alright.
So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but this is a problem that DC's kind of always had, in my opinion. It's like you're spreading one man's journey, you're spreading one man's exploits too thin, and when you have so many slabs on the table, like there's not going to be much left to tell the story or spin it in a different way. Like whatever we have to say about Joker War when all that stuff was going on. The best thing that came out of that was 3 Jokers, like because that was an avenue that wasn't as explored.
Mm-hmm.
It found a way to turn an element on its head, and that's what made it super special. But you're not gonna get too many more stories like that if we continue these Batman after Batman after Batman story. Like
Yeah.
These writers need breaks.
he needs a break.
That's a character.
My man is tired.
Let him die.
I mean, clearly, whatever you have to say about our opinions on Batman, if you think we're just hating, whatever. But you have to admit, he's taxed. Like, you can ignore it for a while,
He doesn't pay taxes.
obviously, but he's taxed. You need time for him to breathe. That's all I'm gonna say. And the last comic that I have on our docket here, something I know you all had fun reading.
Yeah.
All right, I have a feeling I'm gonna be alone here.
I had fun in the wrong way. That I think they didn't intend for me to have.
I had so much fun closing that book.
I don't want to shit on it because I feel like this book was made specifically for a certain type of person.
Yes, say something nice.
Okay.
I'll start. Morbius, Bond in Blood. This book feels like it was made in the 70s. The way it reads, the exposition, the dialogue. I mean, even the way it's drawn. Tom Riley did a great job. He's kind of like a Chris Samney light. Morbius felt like, I don't know if this is a one and done. It definitely feels like one. It felt like a palate cleanser. Like, hey, here's a reintroduction if you haven't heard or known about Morbius, because he's got a movie coming out later. So here's just who he is, what he does, all that. And the book had a job to do, and it literally did that. But the fashion in which it delivered it felt like it was for fans who are over 45. Like, this felt like an at-a-time book in modern day.
Yeah, this seemed like an homage to the old monster books, the Draculas, the werewolves, the mummies. I mean, the way it was written, it had this horror aspect to it that was really like up in your face about.
The monologues.
Yeah, the entire book was a monologue.
Dude,
the entire book was just told through his perspective, through everything that he was thinking, how he felt, which I like that, but this was, I don't know, it just felt old. It just felt out of place with everything that I've been reading. Some people may see that as a breath of fresh air. I kind of saw it when it posted. When I read it, I was like, "This just dropped. This can't just."
Yeah,
drop. I thought you told us to read something from like the 1970s. I was like, okay.
You said, what the fuck? He's pulling the fast one.
Unfortunately, it's really, like, I get that it could be an homage. Obviously, it's definitely inspired.
nice.
I'm being nice. If it wants to replicate that style completely, it did a great job.
It did.
It went straight, like, it literally just took an issue from the 70s and re-released it and recolored it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna homage something, like, it'd be different if it turned it on its head or like made Morbius felt like he was out of time, out of touch. But everyone, like, from the situation, from the characters, spoke like they all came from the same place, and it just didn't feel like it just.
It felt like modern day had a small bubble where everyone was trapped in a different time period.
Like, it would be like homage, sure, but don't like give me strictly that. Like, if you're gonna do a homage, like if I were to do an homage of like an old like 60s film and everything, I would do it, but not to the extent where it's literally a film from back in the day, because that's.
This read like a Bela Lugosi Dracula script.
Yeah.
From like 1940.
I completely agree.
This read just like that, and it was like it almost, when I go back and read those type of comics, and this is no diss to anybody that enjoys that, because it arguably brought out some of the best stories in both DC and Marvel, but it just, the over explanation, it talks to me like I am a moron.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel like I need to be overly explained the same situation 3 or 4 times during the book. And, all of a sudden, let me explain my powers by telling you how I can fly. Because his bones were brittle. Okay. Like, it's kind of, the way it was done, the way it was presented, it was cheesy. And maybe they were going for that, but again, I don't think it fits in this era of comics anymore.
I was waiting the whole time for some kind of punchline. It felt like they was setting me up. Like, I was gonna read the entire thing, it would be exactly what I hope it wasn't gonna be. Like, I was feeling like, oh, where's the twist? When is it going to, turn, become good?
Yeah.
I guess.
Flipping through this, it's actually kind of neat how he did capture this old 70s, 60s vibe
Yeah.
to the T.
Yeah.
to the guy took his serum, and where did he go? Straight to the bank.
To grab
Straight
the
to the
coins.
bank to get the mooching sacks.
fund my research. I'm gonna go to the bank with this huge circle door.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna tear it off.
Now, even down to the villain that shows up in this book is very pulp comic, like back in the day.
No one uses Jackal anymore.
And I'm not gonna lie. All right, I can totally see that there's people out there who will read this, and even when I'm reading it, I try and go along with the ride of the book because I want to read every experience like how they intended it for me. And like I said, like we all seem to agree on, he certainly captured the vibe from the era he was inspired with when he made this comic. However, it does feel like a comic out of time. So if you're one of the new readers that like to, your exposition needs to be punched forward and maybe a little bit less, maybe this isn't the book for you. However, I will say it's competently drawn.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing for all it is pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, so,
Honestly, this is one of those. It might be a good purchase if you truly are a fan of the medium.
yes, like everything is meticulously crafted to serve an experience, and I think it hits on that. However, let's be honest, we're stuck in a rock and a hard place. There's a couple of people who don't know who the fuck this character is,
And never will.
nor less cares what he does.
This would be a terrible introduction to those type of people.
Honestly, yeah. And then the cover will fool you to think he's going to be something more modern. Like it's
The cover seems like it's gonna be gory. The cover seems like it's gonna be dark. The cover just seems like it's going to be this entirely wild ride of Morbius the vampire,
at least have more shades.
just on a rampage trying to control his blood addiction. What in return we get is a story of failed redemption.
Dude, literally.
And
Betrayal.
I think the thing that kills this book for me is the amount of exposition and the amount of time I'm being told what's happening as I'm seeing it. I think that the books nowadays do a really fantastic job of showing you what they want to tell you instead of telling you. And
Like
this
in
is
movies,
this is a I don't want to call it a step back, but a recall to the time where they'd rather tell you rather than show you.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, if you were going for that motif, now if you're one of the people who don't see anything wrong with that, if you like those type of books, then this is definitely.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that when it's done correctly.
I will say the only thing that's missing from this, which would have been perfect, is that if we're gonna capture that pulp style, what they should have done was put like a word bubble on the front, like "I'm Mobius and I'm going for this," like
the living vampire.
and you're gonna cheese it up.
Yeah.
Or have the cops come in and pick up Hyde at the end.
Yeah.
With his pajamas 10 sizes too big.
Why?
If you're going full on, the cover should match.
The cover should have word bubbles on it.
Yeah.
It should absolutely match.
The
So
co-
we're not.
yeah.
So maybe some people aren't necessarily misled by cover trying to look cool. You know what I mean?
Because I think ultimately that hurts the book more than it helps it.
I just want to know how he came out of his things. Like, I became a living vampire. Like, what do you mean? How do you know what? Is there vampires? And how do you know you're living?
Chris, he got electroshocked and
To become a
electricity and blood particles from bat extract. Duh! Don't you know that's what happens when you mix those two things?
Come on, man, keep up.
I mean,
I'm
to
sorry.
be fair with
Smooth
that,
brain over here.
to be fair with that type of origin, I think you deserve the type of book that you get.
I mean, yeah.
Morbius is a unique character, and he really is not gonna go in very high places.
Unless, yes, he is. His bones are brittle.
He
The
got-
wind can pick him up.
Got
you
hollow
know?
bones.
He's so light.
So yeah, but honestly, that's all I've got for comics.
I think if you want to get a retouch into the golden era of comics and the childhood of, like you said, this is made for people that grew up in that era. I can think of several people that would probably really enjoy this, is because it would bring them back to their childhood. it's a decent enough book to pick up
Yeah.
if you're if you wanna just kind of draw back on that time frame that comics kind of fucking
Absolutely.
blossomed in that era.
Absolutely. And it's also kind of one of those books that, now I don't advocate for books of this manner because, like, I think if we're going to make comics that reflect the world, then why not, be politically aware of stuff that's going on. But this is one of those books that is absolutely 100% not in any fashion political. Like, it is exactly what a lot of people claim
They want. That's what they
books.
want. Yeah, exactly.
It's literally that, and there's some stock in that. I had fun.
No, there is some political shit. There's at least one black person who shows up. So.
Yeah, security guard.
He's a security guard.
Yeah,
Doesn't
damn.
count.
Damn, I don't know.
Almost got away with it. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
And he said, halt.
I know.
He said hold.
He didn't pull that fire alarm though.
Oh my, did my eyes see me?
Hey. Black History Month. We don't do that.
Yes, we do.
All right. But yeah, guys, I'm spent. I'm spent on comic books. The only other things that I have left is, like, we have 2 recommends. If you read Wonder Woman issue 2, which is out, they might be on 3 by now. But-
It's only one.
Oh,
I mean,
there's
they're only
still on
getting
2?
two.
There's still on 2?
If you're speaking of Future State,
Yes.
they're only getting 2.
Oh damn! All right.
Yeah,
Well,
sad.
Yara's last
It's
book
over.
came out. I mean, you could kind of extend it a little bit if you read Superman and Wonder Woman.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to either. But
Did you, quick side note, did you read Wonder Woman 2?
I plan on it.
Please do. I truly believe Wonder Woman 2 is one of the best drawn series out of the Future State that came out.
Okay, I
I
will.
think it's fucking
I need to finish
beautiful.
it.
It's odd that they're all wearing the same getup.
No, it's
Every
not.
Amazonian.
It's the same get up to an extent with differences, and I kind of fuck with it because it almost seems like a uniform tribe.
I like that.
Okay.
I like the idea of Universe 5. The only other book that I had for recommendations is Iron Fist: Heart of the Dragon. It is one of those stories that if you look down, you can miss it. Like, you can miss it real fast. But it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to spoil. I don't want to make it. It's not quite like Morbius, but it does have a feeling of back to the old action kung fu feeling to it.
It was going that far
with
back.
a modern twist. He's got his classic costume. Yeah, he's got the classic costume. He's got
God, the huge
The
collar.
collar?
He's got the collar back. The collar's back. It's a fun read. Like, if you're an Iron Fist fan, they're kind of. But this story is special. I wanna hint on that real fast. The story is actually a little bit special, and they're doing something different with the mythos. I thought it was just gonna be another Iron Fist rump, but they're kind of exploring some of that Kunlun history. And what's happening is someone is collecting all the hearts of the dragons that each champion of the island has to kill to become their moniker. So someone's collecting all the hearts of the dragons.
Okay.
And that's kind of a cool take. I never expected them to do that. Like, I wonder what end is that going to be. So and even the way it ends, they bring back a Chinese goddess of mercy. So to kind of help Danny with his journey. I think it's kind of cool. And if you're someone who doesn't mind jumping into Iron Fist stories whenever they pop up, I certainly don't. I would go for it. And that's all I got.